When?
Better than I thought.
All right. I'm going to call the March 18th school board meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Ready? All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. All right, welcome everybody. I'll start with, excuse me, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda for the evening.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on any of the agenda items? All right, all those in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, agenda passes. All right, moving on to comments and suggestions from citizens. We placed a little bit of a friendly wager on whether there would be some students coming to this one right after spring break. I think all of us lost, so we thought there wouldn't be any. So kudos to you for coming. But if there's anybody from the public that wants to speak, I don't think there is. So we'll go into the students. Introduce your name, your teacher, and your favorite subject. And you get to stand up too.
Speak loud.
My name is Jenna Keishan. My teacher's name is Mr. Marvin. And my favorite subject, I took this class last year, and so like I've already taken the class, but interior design.
Oh,
that was
cool.
my favorite.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Talk to Mr. Simmons next to you.
I'm Jacqueline Carlson. I also have Mr. Marmion, and my favorite subject is anything with math.
Good. Appreciate that.
I'm Chanel Langford, and my teacher is Mr. Lenz, and my favorite class is probably my education class.
Cool. Thank you very much. All right, moving on, and any of us can sign your papers at the end of the evening too, so. All right, moving on to consent agenda. Before we get into that, Joe, you want to?
Yeah, I just want to point out, you're going to approve the Walmart renewal, which we talked about the last meeting, that we approved the changes, but they had a date wrong. It listed 9/1 of 24, and the deductibles don't change until 1/1 of 25. We'll get new paperwork. I just want to make sure you know you're approving what you approved last time.
Okay.
And Jill will get the new paperwork, and we'll get it signed when it comes in.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been motion and second. Any further discussion on any of the items in the consent agenda? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, consent agenda is passed. All right, moving on to recognitions.
Yeah, we had a History Day competition to go to state. We had Mallory Dittmeyer, Morgan Van Saul, and Caitlin Peck, History Day projects advanced to state level. The regional competition was March 4th at St. Ambrose. Congratulations to all of them. And they compete on the 29th of April.
That's awesome.
That's great.
All right, next section, bills. Jill?
Thank you. This evening I have $965,204 worth of bills presented for approval for payment. My highlights include a payment to Davenport Community School District for $28,465 for the open enrolled out students that attend Davenport for first semester's tuition. A payment to Electronic Engineering for $176,229. That's for district-wide two-way radios. We got the school safety grant, the $50,000 per building that most of the schools in the state got, so we've spent quite a bit of that. And then a payment to Vibrant Arena for $7,500. It's our second down payment for the graduation rental for the facility. Thank you.
Jill, do you know how many, that $28,000 for the Davenport, how many students that represent?
Between 11 and 13, because right, it's by days now.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. A couple of them weren't there the whole time.
Make a motion to approve the bills to be paid.
Second.
The motion saying any further discussion on the bills? I see the graduation cost hasn't really gone up too much.
No, and actually Bettendorf, I believe, is going to pick up a slot again this year, so it'll actually come down in cost. house, because we'll split it 3 ways
So
now.
it's gonna be three-way now?
It'll be a
Oh,
3-way,
good.
yeah.
Good,
Yep.
good.
Is that determined upon the day? I mean, we have to have the same day?
Yes, we'll all have the same day.
Oh,
So on
that's
Sunday,
why.
we'll always be at noon
Okay.
now, and then I think Bettendorf goes second, and Pleasant Valley goes in the evening, or
So
was
it'd
it
be
the
3 and
opposite?
7.
Bettendorf's at the very end.
Bettendorf's at the very end.
Okay.
But they had a conflict last time, but now they're with us, so,
Oh,
yep.
good.
So we should be good.
All those in favor of paying the bills, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, those are approved. No committee reports tonight, and we are on to the Grissom presentation. Thank you for hosting, Kyle.
Absolutely, thanks for coming out. And I was listening to everybody's conversation, figuring out what the quickest, like, gravel road or which route to come out, so it's kind of a toss-up, but I apologize, I don't offer free car washes right now or anything like that. But, no, we're excited to have everybody out. Robin Livey is joining me. Robin is our 5th grade teacher, and what we're talking about tonight are our Grissom House meetings, which we've been holding for a number of years, and they've kind of evolved, and Robin has been somebody who helped launch them initially, but then has also kind of taken over in creating a lot of the lessons, a lot of the things that we do with them. So I've invited Mrs. Livey to join us tonight to share kind of where we've been with them. So kind of an overview of just some of our goals with the Grissom houses. It's really a big part of bringing together here at a one-section building all of our students and staff, so that it's not just the one group of students that you're with for the whole time. It's getting to know students from kindergarten all the way up through 6th grade, as well as all the different staff members, creating those bonds and those relationships. And then also on top of that, also just working on some of those more like life skills or social skills that we have. We'll show a little bit later just a couple of the things that when we have our house meetings, what we focus on. We do fun stuff with it. There's, competitive aspect, but it's also really trying to create some skills, practice with students that stuff they're not going to use just here at school, but outside life and in the community as well too. So we have our 4 houses. It's kind of like Hogwarts when you get here. And we determined those a couple of years ago, and they're all based on space programs. So when we were trying to come up with a name for them, we were trying to kind of keep with the Virgil Grissom, the North's got astronaut theme. So these are all based on actual space missions, but we have red, which is Magellan, yellow, which is Gemini, green, which is Apollo, blue, which is Pioneer, and every student, K through 6, as well as all of our staff, support staff, everybody is sorted into one of those houses, and that is your house for the whole time that you are at Grissom. So I'm going to have Mrs. Livey talk a little bit more about the actual meetings that we have that take place about once every 4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah, so at the beginning of the year, many years ago, the staff was all sorted. It was a big thing. Now we really just sort not pre-K anymore, just kindergarten or new students, and they get sorted. Sometimes they pull out of a hat, sometimes we spin a wheel, so it's just kind of what we're in the mood for. And that always happens usually the 2nd day of school, so that we can get started with that relationship building right away. It's really fun to watch because as the kids get sorted, then they're like, oh, hope we get, and then there's some like, oh, then screams for whoever's in their house. And then we meet once a month now on the Fridays that we don't have early outs, which will change next year. But and then we work to earn points. They can earn chips for being responsible, doing the right thing. Teachers give them in class for setting an example, things like that. Sometimes it's like a caught being good type of thing in the hallway. Oh, I see you were quiet, or I see you were helping. So that's how they earn points to become the house champion, which the plaque is in our office. And Pioneer is still working to be the champion alone. At all of our meetings, everybody does the same. It's all planned. Each house is doing the same thing. They come in, we greet each other. Usually that's a question, like sometimes we'll stand in a circle and we'll say, tell me one thing about you. So like one kid will say, I have a sister. And then if you have a sister, you step forward. And then it's kind of like a, oh, what's your sister's name kind of thing, so that we're learning who each other are. Next time you see them, you could say, oh, how's your dog, or whatever. Every house has their own handshake. It's kind of a secret handshake. And a chant. Mr. Setting many years ago was a judge in our chant-off on the playground. Pioneer did win that one. And then we usually do another relationship building. If you look up in the hallway, last month we did like a bucket filler, and you had to pick a partner and tell them something nice about themselves, and we wrote it on a bucket, and now everybody has something that filled their bucket for that day. And then we have a focus lesson, which I can show you. These are pictures of our meetings. They get a little crowded, in a good way. And, oh, I'm gonna let you go.
Yeah, well, before we get to the meetings, how they look and our focuses, this was another part that we created years ago when we were first getting it started. Our teachers, a couple of us had gone down to a place in Atlanta called Ron Clark Academy, which kind of sets the model for doing the house system and a lot of really cool just community building relationship types of things. And he has a list of 100 essentials. That was a lot for us. So a group of us, we had gotten together and we went through and we selected what we thought the top 20 were. So these are Grissom's Essential 20. These are the pieces that we feel that students need to be successful in school and also outside of school. And as we've gone through, 20 is even a lot for us to hit just with all of our meetings. So what we started to do was group them together into different focuses. And Robin will talk about what some of our focuses are. But you can just see these are just some of the things that we talk about that we really want to work with our students on and reiterate, like even just some of those like communication skills, making eye contact with somebody, introducing yourself. If you bump into somebody, saying excuse me, some of just those manners that we have. Learn from your mistakes and move on. All of those can be focuses of our lessons and our house meetings that we have, because that's what we want our students to be able to do. So we took those and we started highlighting some of them, and that led to our focuses for our meetings that we had this year, with each trimester having its own focus and kind of group of lessons with those ones.
This is
Yes.
essential what? What do you call these?
We just call it the Grissom Essential 20.
Like they know, like behaviors or what?
So if we refer to the Essential 20, they kind of know that we've got this list, and these are just all the things that we want
Practice.
students to be doing.
Okay, good.
Yep, absolutely.
So this year we chose 3 main focuses and they're going for trimesters. So each focus has 3 meetings. So our first 3 meetings were on empathy. That kind of ties into some of our social emotional standards as well. So this helps with like putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. How would you show empathy? So some of our meetings had, we had Dear Abby type situations where we gave a scenario, what would you do in this situation, and things like that. So that was our first focus. And then our second focus for second try was gratitude. We kind of put that with Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's a good time, obviously, to show gratitude. But we tied mindset into that too. That was funny because we had a lot of indoor recess at that time too, and nobody loves indoor recess, teachers included. But we had to teach them like, oh, I hate indoor recess. Well, at least I got recess today, or at least I got to play with my friends today. So kind of switching our mindset and being grateful for things. A lot of that turned into things they're thankful for at home as well, so that was good. Tell your mom thanks for cooking you dinner, kind of thing.
That was a fun one to watch and listen, because that was the toughest one, of being able to flip that, the negative mindset into how can I look at that in a positive way. So that was definitely a challenging one, but a good one that we embarked on.
And then this try, we have not had these meetings yet. Our first one on perseverance will be on Friday. And we decided to put that at the end of the school year because we all need to persevere to that last day of school and still work hard. So these are some of the things they're going to think about at our first meeting. And this is good for a lot of our kids kids who have things come easily have to learn to work through things, and things that kids that don't have things go so easily, having to work through those. So this is a good skill for all involved.
Another piece that we kind of put together for just houses, and again, like mixing students up and getting to know other people, and not just the people in your class, not just your teacher, but everybody else in the school, is we do house lunch and house recess, where we mix up all of our K through 6th graders and have them go into lunch together and sit with their housemates. And so you go into the lunchroom, and the first couple times it's a little crazy because people are figuring out where they need to go. But you'll have a sea of red on one side, a sea of yellow on another side. They get to sit with friends, maybe people they don't typically get to sit with. Sometimes there's siblings that are in your house that you get to sit with. But just, you know, it's a change of pace. It's getting to know new people. Also, it's really great for our staff members because it's a chance for, like Mrs. Livey or you know, Mrs. Kinzenbaugh or Mrs. Klaus in 6th grade to start to get to know some of our kindergartners and 1st graders, start to build those relationships early. And then also going out to recess together. When you mix 6th graders and kindergartners for recess, 6th graders need to kind of learn how they're going to teach kids how to play games and share and really model some of those great expectations that we have. For a 1st grader to say, hey, I got to play basketball with the 5th graders, that's also a really exciting thing. So on those days, it's just a fun way to mix them up and get them interacting with each other too. The last piece that it really lends itself well to is just being able to recognize students for the great things that we're seeing with them. So each month, staff and teachers, they nominate our Lancer leaders based on what we're seeing with the house focuses that we have. And so we get 2 students from each house, a primary student and an intermediate student, and we recognize them based on their work that they're showing or displaying with that house focus. And it's always great. You get to picture up your pictures up in the hallway. You get an awesome certificate to bring home. And again, that's just one of those things that we want to be doing is recognizing our students for the positive things they're doing and building them up and hopefully having everybody aspire to be Lancer leaders too.
Thank you, Kyle.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Any questions?
I think we were all housed a few years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
I know a couple of
I'm
a
pretty
couple
sure I
people
was
got
in the
sorted.
job.
Yeah.
And, one cool thing I just want to say is I am one of the liaisons for the staff and the PTO, and a lot of parents wanted, COVID kind of put a damper on our houses for a little while, and a lot of the parents were like, my kids really miss that piece, and I've been at Target with my own family and seen kids from my house, and oftentimes you see kids you know from Grissom, but they don't necessarily, they know that they know you, but they don't know how. And you'll just get like the little secret wave, and you're just like across the store. So their parents are probably like, "Who's that creeper?" But it's a really cool way for us to build a community here.
Well, and another way that our PTO has helped support it is all of our new students, when they come in for kindergarten or if they move into the building, they get a Grissom House shirt that has their, if they're green, red, blue, or yellow, and it's got the crest on it, so that when we have those house meetings, we encourage students to wear those shirts or to wear their house colors with it as well. And I was in Apollo when I was a teacher. I was on the greenhouse, and then when I became principal, I decided I'd just be in all the houses, but Apollo still kind of has a place in my heart too, and so the kids know that. Yeah.
What a great idea, yeah, I love it. I see the connection, I see the work, the social aspect and the manners and such, and the community you're building. How do you help create the work ethic? What do you do with that?
You know what, I think a lot of it, like you were seeing in some of these, was connecting some of those to what it looks like at school. So I think that a lot of these, when Robin and a couple other teachers have really kind of been looking at it, it's what does this look like at school? So when they have their slideshows, it's really connecting to, you know, what do I need to do as a student? What does this look like in school? And then making that connection to the community. But I think for those students, it's really seeing the application of it.
Right. Thank you. This is great advice.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Kyle? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
All right, we have no old business, and we're moving on to new business and student-built home bids. Mr. Simmons?
Yes, hello. I have several contracts for you to consider tonight.
for both of the projects that the students are working on this year. For the student-built home, you've got new look gutters. There's a signature needed for that. Sherwin-Williams paint, we don't need a signature for that, but we do want to acknowledge a $429.80 discount on the paint. Cousineau Granite, we need a signature for that. There's a $2,000 discount on that. King's Materials, we don't need a signature for that, but they have agreed to donate all of the stone once again for the exterior of the home. Very generous. Carson's floor covering, excuse me, we need a signature for that. There's a $60.60 discount. Currently that brings us to, and I should mention it's not on here, but I just got word today. We had a proposal from Fireplace Barbecue Warehouse for our fireplace. Today they informed us that they're just waiving the $2,400 that we owe them, and so they've donated that in its entirety. So we're at $66,843.10 in discounts and donations for the student-built home to date. Then for the Ed White remodel, I'm sure you're aware, the student-built home kids have been remodeling the home next to the church across from Ed White. We decided to, because when we roof the student-built home, we use a certain type of bracketing and safety gear so that they can't fall off of the roof. We're not able to do that with a roof that's already got soffit and fascia on it. The reason that we don't build two-story homes is because we'd have to put kids on scaffolding to put siding on. It's a two-story home essentially. And so we got some bids. We need a signature for the roofing. We're going to have that done by Kipper Carpentry. And then Suburban Construction is going to do all of the gutters, siding, and soffit and fascia. Suburban is given a $524 discount. Our total expenses to date, including the purchase of the house, so when that portion of the purchase price was passed on to the student-built home program, including that purchase price and what we've paid to date, including these, we're at $217,000 for that home, and we will still need to install a deck and a driveway. So that's all I have.
James, did we ever recognize Pella Windows because they donated all the windows for that house?
Thank you, Joe. I apologize. Yeah, Pella did donate all of the windows for that house. Thank you.
Yeah, I just couldn't remember if we did.
Yeah, I don't know if we acknowledged that or not, but yeah, they donated every single window throughout the entire home, which really changed the look of the house.
Oh, no, we didn't.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Questions for me?
Are we writing thank you notes to these people? From us?
We invite them to the student-built home celebration,
Right.
where we formally thank them there,
Yeah.
but haven't handwritten any thank you notes to this
I
point.
think it'd be
Should
nice
be.
students coming from us.
So we get the thank yous on here, we should be doing them. I know we do it for the end ones. That's one of the reasons we like to put the donations, to make sure we thank people for it.
Right. So yeah, maybe we could actually send them a card.
That'd be good.
And just,
Be nice
I mean,
if
that's
students
something
did
that,
that too.
Yeah, that'd be good.
thanks, James. I mean, it's amazing. It's just absolutely
We
phenomenal.
got a generous community. It's always amazing.
Thank you for going above and beyond asking.
Yes,
For
we
King's
need to approve
material,
them.
like how much is the stone that they're donating?
I've been waiting to hear back. I've asked them. They're busy and they haven't been able to give me a price on that. So I don't know the exact amount and what that's worth. I wish I could tell you that. As John hasn't been able to get back to me.
I move that we accept, oh, sorry, I move that we accept the student-built home built bids.
Second?
Motion second. Any further discussion?
One other question, that's okay. For the countertops are granite, I'm assuming in Suburban, who else was, those are pretty high bids, I would
So
say?
for the for Suburban Construction, we had I can send you an email on it, on what the company's name is. On the granite, I don't know what this does. I can't get anybody to bid it because they know that Jason gives it away. He just gives it to us for his cost. And so nobody else will give me a price because they know that Cousineau Granite is owned by Jason, who gives it to us at cost. So he donated all the countertops throughout the rest of the house, little extra key drop areas and things like that. So it's in a tough spot because I can't get other bids for it, and it could be considered a conflict of interest because he's our instructor, but he literally gives us the stuff. So I'd be happy to, if somebody wanted to, if we could find somebody else to compare those two, I'd be happy to see that standard.
Thanks.
I don't know if that's a good enough answer or not.
Thank you, James.
Thank you, James.
I want to, before we finally go on, I just want to thank you for all your time and effort into both of these houses and everything, and just for getting the program where it is to this day. So thank you very much. So, thank you.
Your vision, your leadership,
Yeah.
We're gonna miss you.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's amazing. Good job.
It's an amazing district.
Right, all those in favor of approving the student built home bids, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, we are approved. Is this the last time you're going to be in front of us for this year's house? Or
We have to buy a lot for next year, so
Yeah.
you'll be seeing it next month or so.
All
I
right,
know.
perfect.
Good.
Thank you.
Great.
Good deal.
Bye, James.
All right, on to E-rate stuff. I think,
That's
That is
Dan,
me.
right?
I don't have a lot of things getting donated. Sorry.
Can you work on that, please?
Yeah,
Well, technically,
yeah,
the
I'll get back to
E-rate
you.
says half of it is donated or paid for.
60% of it gets paid for by
60%
the
paid
state,
for
so
through
I guess
federal
yes, that
program.
part of it is
Yeah.
true.
So, Dan, you got to take credit for that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sorry. So first one there is our battery backups and our UPS, which is uninterruptible power supply. So we had 3 vendors bid on that, and you can see the bids that came in as well as our criteria that we are required to use to identify those. So our recommendation there is to go with the lowest bid, which is IT Savvy for those purchases.
All right. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
A motion and second. Any discussion for Dan on the battery backups? All right. All those in favor of approving the contract to IT Savvy? Is that what it was? Please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, motion passes. On to the network equipment.
Thank you. Next one, network equipment. RTI is our lowest bid there. We only had 2 vendors bid on that one. You might notice that the initial price for RTI is higher, but we're going to remove the costs of the services, which is on the first page there. So it does bring that down a little bit more. I apologize, it would have been the lowest bid, but it is actually even lower with removing those installation costs. We'll do that in-house on our own. So our recommendation is to go with RTI for our network equipment.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion approved. Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any discussion? I guess I just have one question. How often are we gonna have to be doing that? Like, what's the life we expect to get out of this stuff, Dan?
The battery backups, I believe, this should be our last one for probably 3 or 4 years. The network equipment, with all of the new construction, we are kind of backfilling some of that stuff. But we should be looking at a couple of years before we need a purchase of that size with all the access points.
All right. Thank you. Any further discussion for Dan on the network equipment? All right, all those in favor of approving the network equipment bids to RTI, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, motion passes. On to the ISP
Yep.
services.
So with the law potentially changing about AEA services, we might be in the position where we are looking to purchase a secondary internet provider, which right now we get through the AEA, but if we're not allowed to do additional services through them, we would want our own secondary one. Just in case we have a failure, not all of our internet's running through one pipe is basically what it boils down to. So these bids are for 1 year, just to see if that's something we even need. And you'll notice there's language there and is included in the contract that we may null and void this if the AEA is able to provide that service. So 2 bids on that one. IV Pathways is significantly less because that's who already provides it through the AEA, so there's no setup or install cost. So recommendation there is to continue with IP Pathways. We would just be going directly with them rather than through the AEA consortium for that.
Thank you, Dan.
What is the cost that we're paying EA? Do you know?
It is, I have it. I shouldn't say I know because that would be.
Hopefully it's around 27,000.
What's that? Well, all of it, a lot. Yeah, this particular.
That's okay, you can tell me that.
I will find it and
But
give it to you. I know.
We're paying up and above our flow-through money.
Say that again?
We pay more, we pay for that service.
Yes.
It isn't our flow-through money, so that's on top of our flow-through money.
Yeah.
So
Does that
would
make
the total
sense?
be in the ballpark of this 27,000? Is that?
Well, I think that's what we're checking. It should be,
Yeah.
but we don't know if it is or not.
Yeah, I mean, this is dual service, you're talking about for a year, what I was just wondering is, if the same provider, are we paying AEA this plus a premium?
So the monthly cost will be it's about a $400 difference per month.
More?
Oh, sorry. This will be, I can't be right. This says less according to what they sent us. So that shouldn't be.
It's okay,
what
you
it
can,
is.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
No, I will
Yeah.
follow up on that because you're right.
And it
Matt.
could be, if they're having to bid it out with all the districts, they wanna make sure they get those bids, so it could
It might be.
potentially.
They might
go
have
up.
come in low.
So, yeah,
to sharpen their
Yeah,
pencil.
because it should be close to the same, because remember, our flow-through's paying 5 for the management portion of it, they shouldn't be charging us any type of increased cost to the AA, because we already pay them
Oh.
on
Right.
top of what we pay for this service.
Right.
I know
So-
why. Our E-rate discount as a district is 60%. The consortium E-rate is only 53%.
Oh, okay.
So there's a difference there.
So we have-
Oh, that was the difference. So
Great.
I'm glad you asked. Look at what I learned.
Yeah.
Not useful information, probably.
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
All right,
Second.
the motion seconded. Any further discussion on the ISP services? All right, all those in favor of approving the E-rate contract for the ISP services, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, motion passes.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
All right, district budget for next year, Jill.
Yeah. So attached to the agenda tonight, I have the worksheets for the whole budget. This evening, really what we're doing is looking at the notice of public hearing for the proposed property tax levy. That's the new piece, that's the new budget this year. Looking at setting the public hearing date of April 8th at 6 p.m. is what we came up with. Maybe just for people that are listening though, we did have a budget workshop March 4th to review the budget. At that time, supplemental state aid was not known. It's still not known today. The states indicated it'll be somewhere in the range of 2.5% to 3%. Some highlights from the session, taxable valuations, they did increase 10.5% from last year. The proposed budget maintains a general fund UAB comparable and healthy to prior years with balanced funds. It does have an income surtax of 2% compared to 1%. We are doing levies for the general fund, PEPAL, Pearl, and debt service, not the management fund, that's new this year. So we'll use some cash reserves and spend that down. And overall, we did have a little bit of an increase in the tax levy rate this year compared to prior year because we issued debt, right? So now we have the new debt service levy. So I guess I just wanted to share a few of the highlights. The attached information here has a property tax rate of $11.86 per $1,000 assessed valuation. If we'd end up getting 3% supplemental state aid, it'd be $11.79, but we want to publish the higher one so we can make sure we can get all the general fund money that's due to us. But we're not publishing an extreme number, something that we think will be reasonable to what will come in. But this evening I'm asking for board approval of the publication of the public hearing and to have it at our next meeting, April 8th.
Great, thank you, Jill.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion to accept.
Okay, so motion and seconded. Any discussion on setting the public hearing for April 8th? Or questions for Jill? All right, all those, we can just do voice vote, right,
Yep.
Jill? So, all right, all those in favor of approving and setting the public hearing of April 8th for the budget, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, public hearing is set. Moving on to a long list of change orders for the Lancer Stadium.
So these are all the approval of the second locker room, so I'm gonna read what they are, but the same reasons is for every single one of them. Some are negatives, some are positives, but it's all what you expected when we approved that second locker room. So the first one, looking for approval for Allied Construction, will increase $23,340.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is the motion saying any discussion on this one?
Just a question on, is this what we were given as the potential increase from
Yes.
US builders?
Yep, yep.
I mean, within
Yeah,
that
these are
range.
the numbers,
Okay.
yep.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the change order to Allied Construction, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, moving on, we have two to Color Inc., looks like.
Yep, so the first one at Color Inc. is a decrease by $1,773.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, so motion saying any discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the deduct to Color Inc. for Lancer Stadium, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that one's approved. Now on to the increased one.
Yeah, Color Inc., it's an increased of $6,961.
For what?
Color Inc. for the painting.
Why did it increase?
It's the second
The
locker
second
room.
locker room.
Okay,
So,
for the second.
yeah, it's
okay,
all, every one of
okay.
these is the same.
That's
Everyone's the
pretty-
same, yeah,
okay.
yep.
Move to approve. Second.
All right, motion say any discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the increased change order to Color Inc. for the second locker room in Lancer Stadium, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, motion passes. On to Crawford Heating.
So the first one for Crawford Heating is an increase of $1,400.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, motion say any discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the change order to Crawford for the increase of $1,400, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that one passes. Crawford, second one.
Yep, second package is an increase by $23,600.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion saying any discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the $23,600 change order to Crawford for Lancer Stadium, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that one passes.
All right, the third one for Crawford is for an increase of $20,048.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's motion second. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the change order to Crawford for this amount, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, motion passes. G&H Masonry?
Masonry is an increase of $19,800.
So moved. Second.
Moved, seconded. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the change order to G&H Masonry, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. KE Flatwork?
KE Flatwork is an increase of $131,780. Remember, we decided to pour the walls instead of the masons.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion on this one? All right, all those in favor of approving the increase to KE Flatwork, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that one passes. Second change order to KE.
Second one is for an increase of $67,570.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion second, any discussion on this one? All right, all those in favor of approving the change order to KE Flatwork, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, motion passes. Reagan Mechanical.
Okay, Reagan Mechanical was a decrease of $43,750 for the first one.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion seconded, any discussion?
This particular one was like, we decided to do locally controlled thermostats, right?
Correct.
So we're seeing a
Yeah.
bunch of these. Part of them is for second visitors locker room, some of them, remember when we did the value engineering?
Was the
it
value.
took us
Change the
out?
scope.
Yep.
Yeah, change the
Yeah.
scope, so that's why you see all these,
Yeah.
there's three
Multiple-
different reasons,
yeah,
right? Why
multiple
we
kinds.
have change orders, yeah. But it's good to see all of them and, you know.
Yes, yeah.
Get them done. Looks like a lot, but it's for three different reasons.
Don't worry, students, we've got 25 more to go.
Then you can dance.
Yeah. All right, I'll entertain a motion, because I don't remember if I had one or not. I did?
Yeah.
Okay, you're saying, all right, no more discussion. All right, all those in favor of approving Reagan Mechanical, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, those opposed? All right, motion passes. Second change order to Reagan.
It's an increase of $79,000.
Okay,
Good approve.
Second.
motion second, any discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the second change order for Lancaster State and Reagan Mechanical, please say aye. Those opposed? All right, motion passes. And last but not least, Sheets Design Build.
Sheets Design, it's an increase of $136,000.
Motion approved. Second.
Motion second, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the change order to the Sheets Design Build, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, moving on to superintendent's report.
Okay, the enrollment report is in there. We are starting to work on class sizes for 4K, 5K, and kindergarten. And so that way we can start placing, hopefully in early April, all the open enrollments. First internal open enrollments, and then external open enrollments to balance out class sizes. So it's nice to start to move into that phase. From a legislative update, I just popped on because I was wondering if they passed, if the Senate happened to pass a number. They did not, but they did pass an AA bill. They amended the House bill. I haven't read it. So there is finally, I was gonna say, well, now that we're through the second funnel week, we should start seeing action, and we started already seeing it today. So it looks like the Senate's gonna start picking up a lot of bills, amending them and sending them back to the House. So hopefully we will get, by the end of the week, it'd be wonderful to have a number before we have that public hearing. So things are moving. And then Vision 25, Shepherd, they started putting in the terrazzo floor last week. They were bringing in a big crew to try to get out the big room done fairly quickly. So it's gonna be further ahead of schedule. We're behind schedule, but then what we thought. So that's nice that that's going in. And the cabinets are going in the teacher's workroom and the art room. So things are moving along there. Hopefully here in the next couple weeks, that project will be done, and then we'll figure out how to do a ribbon cutting with the students and everything. So we should be able to open it up here April and May. So that'll be nice.
Chad said we'd have the Greek mythology plays in there. So
Is that what he said?
I'm
There
holding-
you go.
I'm holding.
The Regional Innovation Center, the roof's on half of the building, and they're getting ready to pour floors, so that's the big things going on. And they're starting, I saw they were working on the roof on the second half, so we're moving along there. Welding, if you've been in the back parking lot, the Mason walls, same company who did Allen Shepherd, they have really knocked out the walls on this building. In fact, outside brick could be going up soon.
So we can take that protection rate and apply it to the alarm.
Yeah, that would be wonderful, yes, yeah. And then, the Lancer Stadium, if you've been by there, they're getting ready to pour the walls. I mean, the building looks huge. It's not as wide, but it'll be interesting to see that sitting underneath the stadium. The curb is 3/4 of the way around the track for the turf right now. We're trying to get a price. We have a 15-inch incline going to the current high jump, and we're looking at removing all of that, putting in a new base, so it can be one flat surface. And then we wouldn't need to turf. It'll actually save on turfing costs, because we can end it right there for that side. And so, we're waiting to get a quote on that. It's just, otherwise, if you hit the end zone, you have only a few feet, and you raise 15 inches. And so, we're working through that. In the restrooms, they're getting ready to pour the floors in that restroom, and so things are moving well there at the stadium. February was very nice to us. Junior high in Armstrong, they're setting up to get ready to start working there, and so that's nice. And the wrestling, I think they're through the demo portion that they had to, tearing out floors, and they're ahead of schedule to get the wrestling facility done.
And that's all
So,
basically in the restrooms and.
yeah, the locker rooms, yeah, a lot of demo in that area to get new lines going in and things like that. We did get new gutters on the outside, and we'll get a quote to paint it, so it's a silver and red, not the brown. It needs to be painted anyway. Scott's working on that. What else do I have on my
Public
That's
forums.
there. Oh, public forums, April 3rd, and then April 10th at 6 p.m. at Parkview. So virtual session will be in the boardroom, and then April 10th we will be in Parkview.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
Any questions for Joe? All right, hearing none. Just remember, April 3rd is the virtual one, correct?
Correct, yeah.
So,
Interviews for high school principal are right now April 11th. And I know some of you who wanted to be on there couldn't be on there. It might help us to balance out. Anyway, we'll have a fairly large committee, so getting some board members to just be on one committee. I think I'm over 15 people with parents and students and staff. It's a big staff to have a good representation from the high school. It's a big committee. So what I'm planning on is the breakout rooms at the high school is where the high school staff and students and parents will be, and we'll probably be in the boardroom. Because we still have quite a bit on our committee, so. I'm thinking of 4 interviews. Right now, I would say we have 4 to 5 legitimate apps. There's only maybe 10 apps, and there are, the new state system is not good at getting apps, but through Grunmeyer, and they have 3 more in the works, and we're anticipating at least 3 more. I mean, there are not a lot of apps. But I know that obviously we have several good apps, so I'm not worried about being able to pick out 4 quality people. But I'm only anticipating morning and then lunch and then getting everybody's feedback. So, yep.
all right, moving on to board comments or correspondence. Anybody have anything?
I want to thank the school board for providing our teachers and all the buildings some treats and food and cookies and you name it, and thanking our staff, our teachers, for doing parent-teacher conferences. And I want to thank all you guys for doing that for building and going around if we could. Say thanks to all the teachers for their time. And you put in a lot of time to do that too, so I appreciate all you guys doing that for our teachers. It's all about thanking them, which is what we did, and I appreciate that from everybody.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Give a shout out to the North Scott High School band kids that performed at Disney over spring break. They represented the North Scott community and our high school well, so it was a great experience. They looked very professional. Disney has so many rules.
All right, I'll entertain one more motion.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks for the
Kyle.
extra time tonight, too. Appreciate it. Yeah.